This is Hako, your artist poet on PlayStation 4, here with what I think is probably going to be my last of this week's videos focusing on strategies and tactics to getting good in Destiny 2, or basically getting good in just about any game or anything you want to do. Just a rehash of the previous talks, and it is mostly about finding out what it is you want to be good at. I mean, some people are like, I gotta be the best of everything, and they just wreck themselves and their personal life and their professional life, even driving themselves nuts trying to achieve something that they feel is perfectly achievable for themselves, but yet is a gross, unrealistic perspective of their destiny. um, To clarify, fate, which I do not truly believe in, is a predetermination of an outcome that is unaffected by anything you do. No matter what you do, your fate is going to be your fate. That means stubbing your toe or winning a lottery or whatever. It doesn't matter. Destiny is the culmination of choices that have been made on your behalf, or you have made for yourself, or were made for you through a lack of your own investment in your own future or outcome. That's what Destiny is. Destiny and Fate are not the same thing. They are similar that the choices you make will lead to a destiny that is ultimately going to be very, very hard to dodge if you don't want it. You've heard a lot of talk about Destiny in Star Wars. Vader is constantly, saying to Luke, "If that is your destiny," kind of situation, and there it is an idea that we throw around without really truly understanding it, and it's kind of like irony. A lot of people say that, well, they use Alanis Morissette's song "Isn't It Ironic" as an example of irony, and that is no. Ed Byrne, the comedian, the Irish comedian
Eververse has
from
the
the UK,
goods.
obviously, has said it best that her song should have been called or "Isn't It Unfortunate?" Because irony is not looking for a knife and finding nothing but a thousand spoons. Irony is not, being afraid to fly and
Thank
then
you for
finally
shopping
getting
at
on an
Eververse.
airplane and then having it crash. Um, Irony is not being stuck in a traffic jam when it's already late. And as Ed Byrne commented in his, little uh, bit, that irony would be, in fact, having rain on your wedding day if you were being married to a weather person and that weather person chose the date because it wouldn't be raining. That would
Eververse
be
isn't
irony.
just a
Okay,
title,
it's an outcome
it's a
that
promise.
occurs without the expectations of it actually happening. And this is a lot of what Destiny can be like. Both the IRL Destiny and, of course, this game. You have an expectation, but then you get the complete opposite of that expectation. It's like you look at the videos that are out there, you watch the build videos, the how-tos, and everything like that. You
Ah,
pick the
here
best
we
guns, you
begin
pick the
then.
best character class, you practice and you
Your
work
children
your
ought to
ass
fill
off
me
getting the
with
best
renewed
rolls
confidence.
on your weaponry, and then you go into that legendary lost sector to try to get that best exotic that your character absolutely freaking needs, and the outcome is you basically wiping to orbit over and over and over and over and over. Is it your destiny then? All the things you did leading up to that point, it should have been your destiny to get that legendary exotic, to get that exotic out of that legendary lost sector, right? I mean, that's the way the math works out in my head. But then it's like nothing happened. The irony of the situation is that that doesn't happen. You do all that work to get all that way, and the outcome is expected that you're going to earn that exotic, and then you don't get that exotic. I don't know. That might still actually just be unfortunate. It might not actually be irony. But okay, let me see what we got. I'm sorry, I'm playing Raid Shadow Legends while I am doing this and playing some Destiny as well. Oh, bugger me! I didn't get the rare shield. Well, that's unfortunate. I didn't expect to. I mean, yeah. So, can you have Destiny with RNG? Can you have, and I'm talking like IRL Destiny. I'll say D2 if I'm talking about D2. If I'm talking about Destiny, the game, I'm going to say D2. Can you have Destiny with RNG? No, you can't. So your expectations should always be fluid. All right, and this, I'm getting to a point here. I'm tying this up into how to get good in this game, how to get good in games like D2. Um, the point I'm trying to make is that you might have an expectation of your character and your player performance, and you may have felt that you've done everything right and you fully deserve and are entitled to that result. Here's the key word: you're not entitled to anything. And it doesn't matter if you paid for Destiny 2 D2 like I did, um, or you are a pure free to play player, which no problems with F2P players. Whatever. It's what you want to do. That's how you. Yeah, whatever. On a side note, I'm going to react to Aztec Cross's recent anti-cheat rant. Um, I totally have been in support of a seasonal pass for trials, and yeah, even Iron Banner, believe it or not. Um, Specifically because cheaters typically congregate near free to play games because that way, if they get caught, they could just go ahead and burn the account and make a new one. And this Aztec covers it quite a bit of detail over a course of videos. Actually, he's done several of them, and I agree with every single one of them, except for the fact that he says that console has it easier than PC. I don't think it really matters. I think there are just as many cheaters, and there is just as strong a cheater community on console as there is in PC. Um, and I think there are more people running cheats and bots in console because people don't expect it in console. You don't expect to have cheaters in the game, and so they're not looking for them. That's just kind of like it's ignored almost. But anyway, that's neither here nor there with my conversation. It's the expectations that you have about what it is you're trying to do versus the very act of achieving those expectations. Um, Believe it or not, unless somebody is actively working against you, if there is deliberately, like, if any number of one of these guardians here is out there to make sure I don't achieve whatever it is I try to go and achieve, there's very little I can say about that being um, not my problem. It is my problem, no matter what. Even if there's people who are going against me, if it's in PvP, then I expect my opponents to work towards me not achieving my win or achieving my bounties. I expect that. But when your own teammates inadvertently or deliberately sabotage you for the benefit of their own egos, then you probably want to find some new friends. You probably want to find some new playmates. Okay? And what I'm saying is that to get good in Destiny, you have to be objective. You have to get good in just about Destiny 2, D2. Sorry, I said when I didn't do it. Go ahead and call me out. To get good in D2 or any game, you have to be objective about your performance, about your environment, and about your choices in execution. Because all three of those are just just fragments of the multiple of factors that go into your results. Um, so yeah, you did the video studies. You have built the perfect character according to the meta. You've waited for the right time to take on the legendary Lost Sector, but you're still losing. That's because D2 has false difficulty in it. They want you to keep playing. Okay, this game is a gambling game. It is. Any game steeped in this much RNG, where strategy and tactics has very little actually to play in it, is definitely going to be something of a gambling game. Um, because it is driven by its loot tables, it's pretty much like a gacha game too. I mean, you've got the triumphs, you've got the collections, uh, you've got random loot tables, you've got influencers. This is a straight up. The only thing that doesn't make Destiny 2 D2 a mobile app game is the fact that you don't get to play. You really can't play it on a mobile device. I mean, there's been talk about Stadia being playable on like a tablet or something like that, but I don't really think that's I don't think it qualifies like that. It's like it's the one difference between D2 and all other ad games, and that's what you have to understand. Now, this is being aware of your environment, um, and now the next thing is being conscious of the fact that it is your choice to keep playing the game.
Extend to commerce.
Jetsam on Saturn. Okay, so we're going to the Jetsam.
Happy hunting out there.
I'm just going to take a shortcut here. So, like I said, I'm going to wrap this up because it's like really just kind of rehashing everything else, trying to tie it up in a bow. I still blubbered my way through the whole thing. One, be totally objective about your performance and your choices and your environment. The situation into which you put yourself, how you are who you surround yourself with in the game. Most importantly, don't rely on being carried. Okay, personally, I don't care. Honestly, if somebody comes up to me and says, "Yo, man, I need your help to carry me through this event," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not any better at it than anybody else, so your choice." And I always say that, and I'm not being sarcastic, and I won't sandbag. I'm being legit. I consider myself to be very middling when it comes to performance, but I seem to be better at certain things than other people, and those other people seem to recognize that, and I'm totally cool with helping someone out, specifically if they're like a clan mate or on my friends list. Just really be aware of the fact that eventually I'm going to get bored and not want to keep messing with this, and so yeah, you got to put some effort in. I don't mind being there to help you, but if somebody needs to be carried through something, then you're not really playing the game. You're just collecting stuff. You're treating D2 like the gotcha game that it pretty much presents itself to be. So that's being aware of your environment, being aware of your performance, being objective about your performance. That doesn't mean you have to beat yourself up. You have to be super critical about what you're doing or how you're doing it. But just be honest with the fact that, okay, yeah, I'm really not trying here because I just don't feel like it. And then in that case, start to ask yourself, what does it matter? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't get paid to play this game. If I got paid to play this game, I'd probably be pushing myself a little bit more to achieve a bit more, just to basically validate my sponsor's choice in paying me to play this game. But I don't. I play for myself. I paid for this game, and if I choose to basically say fuck off on legendary lost sectors and those exotics, hey man, I've been running around with Stompies for the last 6 months practically, and once the new season comes up, the Bombardiers get a little bit of a buff. I'm probably running with Bombardiers in PvP. Probably won't use them in PvE, but most likely we'll be using them in PvP. And yeah, that's kind of it. And then of course, being aware of your choices. What is it you're choosing to achieve? And then really, why is it? I mean, some people are completionists, and and D2 kind of really does capitalize on that. They want completionists in their game because it makes them look good. And having people in the game, playing repeatedly over and over and over, even if they're just beating up the same lost sector, it all counts towards their credit. And that credit, of course, is due to sponsors and investors and stuff like that. So it's a money game for them. And as soon as you acknowledge the fact that pretty much any game you're playing online is essentially a gambling game, just remember the house always wins. The house always wins. Okay, you have to come to that realization, and that's really what it comes down to. Is just be honest about what it is you're trying to do in the game and why you're trying to do it, and then just do things that support what your real goal is. And on that note, I'm going to break down what I'm doing here. I'm doing gunsmith bounties, but at the same time, I'm also earning some last minute XP because I want to get some bright engrams. Because I have a running theory, I have the idea that's been put in my head by several influencers that holding on to my Umbral and bright engrams might allow me to get next season's loot a little bit quicker. Might improve my RNG by just, basically improving the number of dice I can roll. And that's kind of what it is. Every Umbral Engram, you have to think of it like a six-sided die. The regular D6 gaming die, and the more of those you get to roll, the better your odds of rolling a six, which in most games is like the best roll to get. So, yeah, how to get good in the game? I would say really just pick one facet of the game's experience that you really enjoy doing. Make that be the one thing you do the most of. And, I mean, if it's a toss between Gambit and Crucible or Strikes, really be honest, really be objective, and really pick which one is it that rewards you the fastest, that gives you the best rewards for what you want, and provides you with the most fulfilling experience. And when you set the controller down, you want to get back in. You can't wait to get back into the game, and not because you're like a junkie kind of style. You can't wait to get back. Like, you really are like, okay, that was a pretty hectic, experience. I didn't really have all that much fun doing it, but I can't wait to get back in and try again. That can even work for you too. So again, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. Just remind yourself, why am I doing this? Who am I impressing? And why do I need to impress them? And then figure out what it is that you really enjoy, and just be the best at that, if that's really the case. I mean, with games, you want to be entertained. You want to feel like you're accomplishing something. But, unless you're being paid to do this, unless this is your YouTube channel or whatever,
inbound fallen containment cell from the prison of elders.
Take it easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up about the fact that you get wiped in Crucible. I'm going to tell you right now, I have a tinfoil hat about Crucible in the fact that the game decides which team is actually going to win regardless of what any players do. And I think, outside of the obvious cheaters, you'll be able to tell within about the first 6 to 7 minutes of any match you play, and any mode you play, as to whether or not your team's actually going to win. Now, of course, that leads into arguments about tilt, but we'll talk about that next week. And I will talk to you guys later, I guess. Thanks for stopping by.